Welcome to Sleepy Science, a gentle corner of the sky where curiosity drifts as lightly as clouds. Tonight's journey takes us into the air around us, into the weight of pressure, the hush of falling rain, and the quiet rhythms that shape our weather. Before we begin, I would love to know where you are listening from. It is always humbling to think of these calm stories being heard across so many different skies. If you enjoy these explorations, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. And to those already here, thank you. You are helping this circle of listeners grow, one breath at a time. I hope this story carries you toward rest. Though fair warning, the sky can be too fascinating to drift away from. If you do find yourself awake at the end, you will at least have learned something gentle and beautiful about the weather that moves around you. So, let us begin with a quiet question to carry. What does the sky truly write in its clouds, its winds, and its rain? When you step outside and lift your gaze, you might think of the sky as nothingness, a hollow dome stretched above the earth. Yet the truth is gentler and stranger. The sky is not empty at all. It is a living sea of air, an ocean that flows above you every moment of your life. You walk always at the bottom of this vast ocean, breathing its currents, feeling its pressure, carried quietly by its invisible weight. This sea is made of molecules, tiny and unseen, drifting in constant motion. Nitrogen, oxygen, traces of argon and carbon dioxide, all swirling together in a dance too small for the eye to follow. Each breath you take pulls millions of them inside you. They scatter again as you exhale, joining the great circulation that ties every living thing together. The same molecules you breathe tonight may once have been inside an ancient tree, a migrating bird, or a human centuries ago. The air is memory as well as motion. Breathe slowly. Inhale the shared ocean. Exhale the endless exchange. Above you, the sky stretches in layers, each with its own rhythm. Closest to the ground lies the troposphere, where weather is born, clouds forming, winds shifting, rains falling. Here, the air is restless, stirred by sunlight and shaped by mountains and seas. Above that lies the stratosphere, calm and steady, where the ozone layer shelters you by absorbing ultraviolet light. Higher still, the mesosphere and thermosphere grow thin until molecules are so far apart they barely touch. What seems from below like a solid blue ceiling is, in truth, an ocean thinning into space. This living sea is never still. Sunlight warms it unevenly, oceans heat more slowly than land, mountains cast long shadows, forests exhale moisture. These differences stir the air, creating currents and winds that swirl across continents. A breeze on your cheek is part of a global circulation, air moving from equator to pole, from sea to sky, always seeking balance. Clouds ride these flows, shifting shapes with patience, whispering of rains to come or skies clearing. Pause here. Inhale the calm beneath clouds. Exhale into the drift of winds. The color of the sky is itself a gift of this ocean. Sunlight, though white to your eyes, is made of many colors. As it strikes air molecules, blue light scatters more than red, painting the sky with its soft hue. At dawn and dusk, when light passes through more atmosphere, the blue is scattered away, leaving the horizon stained with reds and golds. The sky is not painted by pigment, but by scattering, by air itself, playing with light. Each sunrise and sunset is the sea of air-bending sunlight into art. The ocean of sky also carries sound. When you hear a bird sing or thunder roll, it is the vibration of air molecules bouncing from one to another until they reach your ear. Without the sky, there would be silence, no voices, no music, no laughter carried between people. The air is not only what you breathe, it is the medium of connection, allowing sound to travel, words to be shared, and life to feel close. Breathe gently. Inhale the hush between sounds. Exhale the music of air. This sea protects you, too. It wraps Earth in a blanket, holding warmth close. Without it, days would burn in relentless heat, and nights would freeze into silence. The atmosphere keeps Earth gentle enough for rivers to flow, forests to grow, and you to walk upon it without armor. It shields you from meteors, which burn as they strike its thickness, flaring into brief streaks of light rather than shattering the ground. Even the sky's storms, though sometimes fierce, are signs of balance, restless ocean always seeking calm. And yet, you often forget the sky is there. Its weight presses invisibly, its gifts go unnoticed, its rhythms seem ordinary. But if you pause, if you breathe and look upward, you can feel its presence. The air touches your skin, fills your lungs, cools your body, lifts the scent of rain, carries the warmth of sun. You are never apart from it. You live inside it, always, held by its quiet currents. Pause once more. Inhale the awareness of being held. Exhale the gratitude for its embrace. The sky also teaches humility, for though it feels endless, it is delicate. All life depends on a thin layer, no thicker in proportion than the skin of an apple compared to the fruit. Within this fragile veil, every cloud forms, every breath occurs, every storm passes. It is an ocean, vast in reach, yet fragile in depth. To care for it is to care for yourself, for without its balance, life falters in this sense. The sky above is not only science, but poetry. It is a reminder that emptiness is not empty, that silence is not silent. It holds stories of light, of sound, of motion, of memory. It connects you to every living being who has ever breathed, sung, or gazed at its shifting colors. The sky is not separate from you, it is the sea in which you live, always moving, always present. As you prepare for rest, imagine yourself lying beneath this great ocean. Above you, currents swirl, stars shimmer through its thinning edges, and the moon glows softly, reflected by its veil. You are cradled beneath this sea, its molecules drifting in and out of you, its rhythms keeping you alive without effort. You do not need to hold the sky, it holds you. Breathe one final time with this vision. Inhale the ocean of air. Exhale into its endless embrace. And as you close this chapter, you carry a reflection. The sky is not empty, but alive, an ocean flowing above your head. Molecules drift, sunlight warms, invisible currents shape every cloud. You rest tonight in the truth that you live always beneath a moving sea. The sky above you is not only light and color, not only drifting clouds and flowing winds. It is substance, real, physical, and present. Though invisible air has weight, it presses down upon you, upon oceans and mountains, upon every leaf and stone. You do not notice the pressure because it surrounds you completely, holding you evenly on every side. Like a hand that never lifts, atmospheric pressure cradles the earth. Breathe slowly. Inhale the hidden weight. Exhale into its steady embrace. At sea level, the air presses with a force equal to more than a kilogram on every square centimeter of your skin. It is as if an ocean of invisible water were pressing down from above. And in a way, that is what the atmosphere is, an ocean of gas instead of liquid. Molecules stacked in layers, heavy at the bottom, lighter at the top. You walk always beneath its depth, your body shaped and balanced by its constant touch. You might think you should feel crushed beneath such weight, but you are not. Your body itself is filled with air, and the pressure inside balances the pressure outside. Every breath you take equalizes the difference, making you part of the rhythm rather than a victim of it. You are not beneath the sky, you are within it, sharing its balance with each inhale and exhale. Pause here. Inhale the balance of inner and outer. Exhale the harmony of being held. This pressure does not remain still. It rises and falls with the weather, creating systems that guide winds and storms. When pressure is high, air is dense and heavy, pressing firmly toward the earth, often bringing calm skies. When pressure is low, the air lifts and swirls, drawing clouds and rain, stirring the restless movements of storms. You may not feel these shifts directly, yet they shape the moods of the sky, the patterns of weather, the rhythm of your days. Imagine then that the atmosphere is breathing too. High pressure is the exhale, pressing outward, clear and steady. Low pressure is the inhaler, drawn upward, moist and full of change. Together, these pulses move across the globe like a planetary breath, each system inhaling and exhaling, carrying winds from one region to another. Breathe gently. Inhale with the earth, exhale with the sky. This rhythm connects to your own breath more deeply than you might think. Oxygen enters your lungs with every inhale, diffusing into blood, nourishing cells. Carbon dioxide leaves with every exhale, released back into the air. What you breathe out, plants breathe in. What they release, you receive. Your breath is part of a cycle that stretches from leaf to lung, from forest to sky. Each inhale is not only yours, it is the planet's. Even the structure of your body reflects this rhythm. Your lungs expand like bellows, muscles lifting the ribs, diaphragm sinking downward to draw in air. Pressure differences guide the flow. Air moves from where it is dense to where it is light. You do not force it, you allow it. Breathing is less an act of will than a dance with pressure, a joining with the sky's own physics. Pause once more. Inhale the gift of oxygen. Exhale the offering of carbon. Consider how fragile this balance is. At higher altitudes, where pressure is lower, the air grows thin. Oxygen molecules are farther apart, and each breath carries less. Climbers on great mountains feel this, their bodies struggling to adapt, hearts racing to pull enough air into blood. And yet, the rhythm endures. The body adjusts, deepening breath, thickening blood, reminding you that life is woven into air's weight. Even in the deep ocean, far from the open sky, pressure rules. Divers feel the difference keenly, the weight of water compressing air in their lungs, forcing balance to be recalculated. Wherever you go, above mountains, or below seas, the lesson is the same. Life is a conversation with pressure, a balance between inner and outer, a breath shared with the world. Breathe again. Inhale the conversation of balance. Exhale the truth of belonging. There is comfort in this invisible weight. It is not something to fear, but to trust. The sky's hand holds you evenly, day and night, in silence and storm. You are never without it, never outside of it. To live is to breathe in sync with this ocean of air, to join your small rhythm with the planet's great one. As you prepare for deeper rest, imagine the earth itself breathing. Pressure rises, falls, swirls, drifts. Winds carry the breath across seas and mountains. Clouds form, dissolve, reform again. And within this vast inhale and exhale, you add your own breath. One more voice in the quiet chorus. Breathe one final time with this vision. Inhale the rhythm of the planet. Exhale into the endless sea of air. And as you close this chapter, you carry a reflection. Air has weight, though you cannot feel it pressing down. Atmospheric pressure is the gentle hand that wraps around the planet. You breathe in sync with Earth itself. Each inhale and exhale, joining the rhythm of the sky. When you lift your eyes to the sky, you do not see emptiness. You see shapes that drift, dissolve, reform, and scatter. Clouds, they are the handwriting of the atmosphere. The diary entries of air, written in vapor across the canvas of the sky. Each one, whether a thin streak or a towering giant, carries the story of its birth. Clouds begin with something invisible, water vapor, drifting in the air, carried upward by rising currents of warmth. As the air ascends, it cools. Cool air holds less moisture, so vapor condenses into droplets, clinging to tiny particles of dust or salt. Individually, these droplets are too small to notice. Together, billions form the soft whiteness you see above. A cloud is not a single body, but a gathering, a chorus of droplets, a record of where air has traveled. Breathe slowly. Inhale the rising warmth. Exhale the drifting coolness. Each type of cloud is a different kind of entry in this sky's diary. Wispy, cirrus clouds, high and thin, mark the calm above storms, made of ice crystals in the coldest reaches of the atmosphere. Cumulus clouds, puffy and bright, tell of air rising playfully, carrying moisture upward in gentle thermals. Stratus clouds spread as low blankets, shading the land in gray. Speaking of stability, of stillness, of the weight of moist air that will not rise further. Towering cumulonimbus clouds, dark and massive, record the drama of storm's warmth, rising violently, colliding with coolness, building energy into thunder and rain. To watch the sky is to read its diary. Each form, each texture, each shade is a sentence, a paragraph, a story told in vapor. Pause here. Inhale the language of wisps. Exhale the weight of towers. Clouds move as the atmosphere moves, carried by winds invisible to the eye. Their shifting positions trace the pathways of air currents, revealing what you cannot otherwise see. High cirrus, streaming in one direction, low cumulus, drifting in another. Together, they sketch the layers of movement that surround you always. The diary is not only about moisture, but about motion, about the restless dance of the air. Color, too, adds to the story. Clouds are white when droplets scatter sunlight evenly, bright against blue. They are gray when thick, when light cannot fully pass through. At sunrise and sunset, clouds glow pink, orange, or violet, catching the low rays of the sun and painting its farewell. In storms, they turn dark, absorbing and reflecting little, holding their energy within. Each shade is a mood, an entry in the diary of the sky's day. Breathe gently. Inhale the light of dawn. Exhale the deep gray of rain. Beyond their beauty, clouds reveal balance. They form where rising and cooling meet, where invisible becomes visible. They vanish when air warms or dries, when droplets return to vapor. They are thresholds, showing where conditions shift. To see a cloud is to glimpse the edges of transformation, the boundary where air tells you it has changed. They also carry water, the lifeblood of the planet. A single cloud may hold thousands of tons of water, though spread thinly across the sky. Rain is the release, droplets growing heavy enough to fall, returning moisture to soil and sea. Without clouds, rivers would dry, forests would wither, life would shrink. They are more than diaries. They are couriers, carrying water from ocean to mountain, from sea to desert, from place to place. Pause once more. Inhale the patience of drifting couriers. Exhale the gift of falling rain. Yet clouds are also fleeting. They form, shift, dissolve, all within minutes or hours. A cumulus puff may grow and vanish before you finish a walk. A storm may rise with drama and fade into clear skies. To watch clouds is to witness impermanence, the constant rewriting of the diary. Nothing stays. Everything drifts. The handwriting of the sky is always erased, always renewed, and still the patterns endure. Though each cloud is transient, the cycles are eternal. Warmth rises, coolness condenses, droplets gather, rain falls. Over and over, the atmosphere writes its diary in this same rhythm. In the fleeting shapes, you glimpse permanence. In the impermanence, you glimpse order. There is metaphor here for your own life. Thoughts, like clouds, form from invisible currents within. They gather, take shape, carry weight, and sometimes rain. They move across the sky of your mind, never still, never permanent. To watch them is to learn that you need not cling to them. Like clouds, they pass. Like clouds, they return. Your mind, like the sky, is a diary written in shifting letters. Breathe. Inhale the forming of thought clouds. Exhale the clearing of the sky within. Science sees clouds not only as stories, but as regulators. They balance the planet's temperature, reflecting sunlight back into space, trapping warmth near the ground. They cool, they warm, they shift climate itself. Their diary is not only personal, but planetary, shaping the rhythms of weather and life. Each cloud is part of Earth's thermostat, adjusting the delicate balance that keeps you here. And yet, like all diaries, their pages are sometimes mysterious. Scientists still study how clouds form, how they change with warming climate, how they may amplify or soften the planet's shifts. Clouds remain partly hidden in complexity, their handwriting not fully translated. They are reminders that the sky, for all its openness, keeps secrets to dot. Watch them form sentences, then blur into fragments, then dissolve into blue. Each one carries the journey of air rising, cooling, condensing, then vanishes, leaving the page blank for new words. The diary never ends, never closes. It writes itself endlessly above you. Breathe one final time with this vision. Inhale the language of the sky. Exhale into the openness of its shifting script. And as you close this chapter, you carry a reflection. Clouds are not just vapor, they are records of air's journeys. Wisps, towers, blankets each tells a story of warmth rising and coolness falling. You drift with them, watching the sky write itself in shifting letters, knowing the diary of air is always above you, always rewriting, always alive. The sky above you is never still, even when it appears calm, when the clouds hold their place, when the air feels quiet, motion continues in silence. The atmosphere is always weaving itself, always moving in gentle spirals and grand arcs. At the heart of this movement lies a simple truth. Warm air rises, cool air sinks. From this pattern comes the shape of winds, storms, and the balance of weather itself. Breathe slowly. Inhale the warmth lifting upward. Exhale the coolness drifting down. Warm air is lighter than cool air. When the sun heats the ground, the surface warms the air above it, making molecules dance more quickly, spread farther apart. This air expands, becoming less dense, and it begins to climb. Like a balloon released from your hand, it floats upward, carrying heat and moisture into higher layers of the atmosphere. Rising air is the atmosphere's inhale, a step upward on invisible stairs. As the warm air climbs, it cools. Higher layers of the atmosphere are colder, and as the air expands into thinner pressure, its temperature falls. Cooling air cannot hold as much moisture, and so condensation begins. Droplets form, clouds appear, and what was once invisible becomes visible. Rising air paints its journey in the sky, marking its path with cloud and rain. Pause here. Inhale the unseen climb. Exhale the clouds it creates. Cool air behaves differently. Molecules slow, crowd closer, grow denser. Heavy air sinks downward, pressing toward the ground. When it falls, it spreads outward across the surface, flowing into valleys, slipping across plains, rushing down slopes. The falling of cool air is the atmosphere's exhale, returning energy back to Earth. The dance of rising and falling is constant, and it creates motion everywhere. When warm air rises in one place, cool air moves in to take its place. This movement becomes wind. Gentle breezes along a shore form because land warms faster than sea, drawing air inland during the day, then reversing at night as the sea stays warm and land cools. The great trade winds across oceans are born of the same principle. Air rising at the equator and sinking at the subtropics, weaving global currents. Breathe gently. Inhale the warmth that climbs. Exhale the coolness that sinks. Storms, too, are written by this balance. Thunderclouds tower because warm, moist air rises quickly, carrying energy high into the sky. As it cools and condenses, it releases heat, which fuels even stronger rising, building columns of cloud that can stretch miles above the earth. Rain falls, lightning flashes, thunder rolls, all from the simple rhythm of warm air rising, cool air sinking. The dance is the same, only intensified, magnified into drama. Even the calmest day carries this pattern. In the morning, as the sun warms the surface, Pockets of warm air rise in gentle thermals. Birds ride these invisible staircases, circling higher without effort. Gliders and hawks find their lift in these columns, carried by the breath of the earth. At night, cool air settles into valleys, forming fogs and dew. What seems like quiet is still the dance of rising and falling, played softly across the land. Pause once more. Inhale the spiral of thermals. Exhale the hush of settling fog. This rhythm extends beyond weather into the very circulation of the planet. Warm air rises at the equator, where the sun's energy is strongest. It spreads outward, moving toward the poles, cooling and sinking along the way. This global movement forms great cells of circulation, belts of wind that wrap the earth. The trade winds, the westerlies, the polar currents all are threads woven from the same loom. The dance of warm and cool builds not only storms, but the climate itself. There is metaphor here, too. Within you, warmth rises and coolness falls. Heat stirs your body, breath carries energy upward, calmness settles you downward. Even your emotions echo this rhythm. Moments of joy lift you like warm air climbing. Moments of stillness ground you like cool air returning to earth. The atmosphere reminds you that rising and falling are not opposites but partners, each necessary, each completing the other. Breathe again. Inhale the rise of joy. Exhale the grounding of calm. The beauty of this dance is its patience. Molecules climb and sink without hurry, driven by differences so small you cannot see them, yet powerful enough to shape storms, winds, and seasons. You live inside this endless choreography, a dancer carried whether you notice or not. To walk outside, to feel a breeze, to watch a cloud, is to witness the breath of the atmosphere, always inhaling, always exhaling. As you prepare for deeper rest, imagine yourself floating with these currents. Feel warm air lift you upward, higher and higher, into clouds forming at your side. Then feel cool air cradle you downward, settling you gently to earth again. Back and forth, rise and fall, inhale and exhale. You are part of the same balance, held in the same rhythm. Breathe one final time with this vision. Inhale the climb of warmth. Exhale the fall of coolness, and as you close this chapter, you carry a reflection. Warm air climbs, cool air sinks, and together they weave winds. Invisible staircases rise into the heavens, carrying moisture and heat. The dance of rising and falling shapes every storm, every breeze, every calm dayond. You are always within it. Rain begins in silence. High above you, clouds gather moisture, drop by drop, each forming around a tiny speck of dust or salt carried on the wind. At first, they are so small that they remain suspended, drifting with the currents. But when enough of them join, when the air can hold no more, gravity begins its patient pull. Drops merge, grow heavier, and at last they fall. What you hear as the soft patter on leaves or the steady rhythm on rooftops is the sky releasing its weight. Breathe slowly. Inhale the heaviness of gathering clouds. Exhale the release of falling rain. Each raindrop is a traveler, a messenger of the water cycle that binds all living things. It may have risen as vapor from the ocean's surface, warmed by sunlight. It may have lifted from a forest canopy, or slipped upward from a mountain stream. Carried into the sky, it condensed, joined with others, and then returned. Rain is the earth's recycling, the eternal loop of water rising and falling, connecting sea to sky, sky to land, land back to sea. When rain falls upon soil, it seeps downward, nourishing roots hidden in darkness. Plants drink, cells swell, life quickens. Seeds waiting in silence awaken, their shells softened by moisture. Streams swell with new water, rivers rush stronger, lakes deepen. Every drop is sustenance, carrying with it the memory of where it has been and the promise of where it will go. Rain is not only weather, it is nourishment itself. Pause here. Inhale the gift. Exhale the renewal it brings. Rain takes many forms. Sometimes it is a mist, so light that it seems to hang rather than fall, each droplet suspended in air like breath. Sometimes it is a drizzle, fine and steady, soaking the ground with patience. At other times it comes in showers, sudden bursts that washed dust from leaves and sent the air with petrichor earthy fragrance, released when drops touch dry soil. And sometimes rain arrives in storms, pounding with power, drumming against earth and roof, reminding you of the atmosphere's strength. Yet no matter its form, rain carries the same gift: return. What rose as vapor returns as water. What vanished into sky comes home to ground. Each drop is both departure and arrival, a cycle written endlessly across the planet. Breathe gently. Inhale the patience of drizzle. Exhale the strength of storm. The sound of rain is its own language. The patter against leaves, the rhythm on rooftops, the rush in gutters, it is music written by the sky. For many, it is a lullaby, calming the mind, steadying the heart. Scientists note that rain's sound is white noise, masking sudden changes in sound, allowing the nervous system to relax. But beyond science, it is simply comfort, the reminder that the sky is alive, that water is falling, that life is being fed. Rain also carries memory. Every drop once belonged to something larger, a river, a glacier, a cloud. In falling, it brings pieces of those places to you. To feel rain on your skin is to touch the ocean in miniature, to be touched by the sky itself. It is connection embodied, a thread tying you to the cycle of the whole earth. Inhale the memory of oceans. Exhale the whisper of rivers. Sometimes rain feels like sorrow-gray skies, dripping branches, the world hushed in dampness. Yet within that sorrow is renewal. Crops grow, forests thrive, reservoirs fill. Even in its quiet sadness, rain gives life. It teaches that heaviness can be released, that what feels like burden can fall and nourish. In this way, rain is a metaphor. You too can release, and in your release, others may be nourished. Consider the desert where rain is rare. When it comes, seeds that have waited years burst open. Flowers bloom in sudden color. Rivers flow where moments before there was dust. Life remembers how to wait, how to endure, how to leap at the chance when the gift of rain finally arrives. The scarcity makes the blessing more precious. Breathe again. Inhale the rarity of rain. Exhale the abundance it creates. Rain shapes the land as well as life. Rivers carve valleys, floods spread fertile soil, glaciers born of snowfall grind mountains into plains. Over millennia, The fall of water sculpts the earth itself, just as surely as it nourishes roots. The drops you hear on your window tonight are part of forces that shape continents and sustain civilizations as you prepare for rest. Imagine the rain as a gentle companion. Picture drops falling softly on leaves, gathering into rivulets, flowing into streams. Hear their rhythm as a lullaby, steady and calm. Feel the coolness of air washed clean, the scent of earth refreshed. You are part of this cycle too. Your body mostly water, your breath releasing vapor that may one day rise into the sky, condense and fall again as rain. Breathe one final time with this vision. Inhale the cycle of return. Exhale the gift of release. And as you close this chapter, you carry a reflection. When air can hold no more, clouds release their weight. Raindrops gather, fall, and nourish the soil. Each drop is a messenger from sky to earth, carrying the memory of oceans, rivers, and mist. Rain is the sky's gift, falling endlessly, reminding you that even heaviness can become renewal. The sky that seems so calm can, at times, erupt into drama. Clouds gather, darken, and thicken. Winds begin to stir, first as whispers, then as shouts. Pressure shifts, invisible currents collide, and the atmosphere begins to rearrange itself. A storm is not disordered, is a natural negotiation, a conversation of pressures, a balancing of forces. To the eye and ear, it feels like chaos. Yet beneath the lightning and thunder, even storms follow rhythms. Breathe slowly. Inhale the build of energy. Exhale the calm waiting underneath. Storms begin with imbalance. Warm air rises quickly, laden with moisture. Cool air presses downward, heavier and denser. Where they meet, turbulence is born. Rising air fuels clouds that climb into towering columns, billowing higher and higher until they seem to scrape the heavens. These cumulonimbus clouds are the castles of storms, their tops flattening into anvils where the air's climb is halted by the stratosphere. Inside them, droplets collide, ice forms, winds swirl. Energy gathers invisibly until it bursts into light and sound. Lightning is the storm's sudden release. Within clouds, particles of water and ice rub together, separating charges positive at the top, negative at the bottom. The imbalance grows until air itself can no longer hold it. In a flash, electricity tears through the sky, finding balance in brilliance. Lightning writes its own letters across the heavens, jagged and brief, illuminating the storm's hidden architecture. Thunder follows, the sound of air expanding and contracting at lightning's touch. It rolls through valleys, shakes windows, rumbles like a deep drum. To hear thunder is to hear the voice of imbalance resolved, the atmosphere singing the sound of energy restored. Pause here. Inhale the flash of light. Exhale the echo of sound. Winds, too, find their story in storms. Pressure differences drive them rushing to fill spaces where air has risen or fallen. They spiral around centers of low pressure, bending under Earth's rotation. In gentle form, they bring breezes, moving clouds across fields. In stronger form, they become gales, bending trees and shaping seas. And in their most intense, they birth hurricanes and cyclones vast, engines fueled by warm oceans, carrying the power to reshape coasts and forests. Yet even these immense forces follow patterns. They spiral in predictable directions, counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere, clockwise in the southern. Their strength is measured, their paths can be traced, their births require certain conditions. What appears as chaos is guided by rules as steady as gravity. The storm may roar, but its rhythm is ancient and precise. Rain, the storm's companion, falls in sheets, washing dust from the air, feeding rivers, nourishing soil. What begins as turbulence ends as renewal. Forests grow lush in regions of frequent storms. Deserts bloom after sudden downpours. The land itself shaped by cycles of flood and calm. Storms may seem destructive, but they are also creators, balancing heat, redistributing water, keeping the planet's systems alive. Breathe gently. Inhale the rain's release. Exhale the earth's renewal, and then, when the storm passes, stillness arrives. The sky clears, winds soften, raindrops cling to leaves, reflecting light like jewels. The hush after thunder feels deeper because of the sound that came before. The air smells fresh, washed clean, carrying the scent of soil and growth. Storms remind you not only of nature's power, but of its balance. Chaos followed by calm, tension followed by release. There is metaphor here too. Your own life, like the sky, carries storms. Pressures collide, emotions rise, thoughts clash, and balance seems lost. Yet, just as with the weather, storms within you follow patterns. They gather, release, and leave behind clarity. The lightning of anger, the thunder of grief, the winds of change-all are part of a rhythm, and stillness follows. To rest in this truth is to trust that chaos is not endless, that even disorder carries hidden order. Pause once more. Inhale the tension you hold. Exhale the stillness waiting beneath it. Science has learned to read storms like texts. Satellites trace their movement, radars measure their strength, models predict their paths. Yet, for all the data, storms remain awe-inspiring, larger than our full control. They are reminders that the earth is alive, that the atmosphere is not backdrop but partner. To watch lightning split the sky is to witness energy itself in dialogue with balance. To feel thunder roll through your chest is to remember you live inside a living system, not apart from it. Even the greatest storms, hurricanes, typhoons, monsoons are woven into the planet's fabric. They move heat from equator to pole, distribute water across continents, shape ecosystems that depend on cycles of wet and dry. The Amazon, the savannas, the rice fields all are sustained by rains brought by storms. Life itself has evolved to meet, endure, and depend on these patterns. And beyond the science, storms are teachers. They remind you of impermanence. No storm lasts forever. They remind you of resilience. Forests regrow, rivers swell, fields bloom after flood. They remind you of humility. For all your knowledge, you cannot stop lightning. You cannot still thunder. You can only witness, endure, and trust the rhythm. Breathe again. Inhale the lessons of storm. Exhale the promise of calm as you prepare for deeper rest. Imagine yourself standing beneath a vast sky. Clouds gather, winds stir, rain falls, lightning flashes, thunder rolls, and then, slowly, the storm moves on. The sky clears, stars appear, the air is fresh, the world is quiet again. You stand in both the drama and the stillness, knowing both belong. Breathe one final time with this vision. Inhale the order within chaos. Exhale the calm that follows. And as you close this chapter, you carry a reflection. Sometimes pressure collides, winds twist, and storms are born. Lightning cracks, thunder rolls, yet even here, nature follows a quiet rhythm. You rest tonight in the truth that chaos in the sky still has order, and that beyond every storm, stillness waits. When warmth fades and the air turns cold, the sky writes in a different script. No longer droplets falling heavy and wet, but crystals, flakes of ice grown slowly in silence, drifting downward like whispers. Snow is the sky's softer voice, a breath released in frozen lace. Snow begins with the same clouds that bring rain. Moisture gathers, rises, cools, but when the air is cold enough, the droplets do not remain liquid. They freeze into tiny hexagonal crystals, shaped by the geometry of water itself. These crystals are the seeds of snowflakes, forming delicate arms that branch and grow as they fall. Guided by the air's invisible currents, breathe slowly. Inhale the stillness of winter air. Exhale the drift of falling snow. Every snowflake is unique, shaped by the precise path it takes through cloud and sky. One may pass through moist air, growing wide and lacy. Another may fall quickly, forming tight, simple patterns. Temperature, humidity, turbulence, all play their part. The result is infinite variety, each flake an unrepeatable design, fragile and fleeting, vanishing as soon as it melts. To catch one on your glove is to hold a moment of cosmic geometry. Here and gone in a breath, the descent of snow transforms the world. Landscapes soften beneath its cover, edges blurred, sounds hushed. Roads, rooftops, branches all are cloaked in white, reflecting light with brightness that turns night luminous. A snowfall is both silence and abundance, quieting noise while layering the land with nourishment that will melt into streams and rivers. Snow is not absence, it is patience, water held in stillness until spring. Pause here. Inhale the hush of falling snow. Exhale into the brightness it leaves behind. Ice, too, belongs to this family of frozen breath. Rivers glaze over, lakes harden, frost paints windows with delicate ferns. Each form of ice is water, remembering a different story, reshaped by temperature and time. A frozen pond holds the stillness of 1,000 raindrops, paused in unison. A glacier, slow and immense, is snowfall, layered across centuries, compacted into a moving mountain of ice. From the smallest flake to the largest glacier, water shows its patience in crystal form. Snow and ice carry memory. Ancient ice cores drilled from glaciers reveal air bubbles trapped for thousands of years, holding the breath of past climates. Scientists read them like diaries, learning of long winters, ancient summers, shifting skies. What falls today as snow may one day be part of this archive, a frozen page in the story of Earth. Breathe gently. Inhale the patience of frozen time. Exhale the memory carried within. There is metaphor here too. Snowflakes teach that beauty lies in impermanence. Each is fragile, fleeting, yet no less exquisite for its brevity. They remind you that uniqueness does not require permanence, that a moment can be enough. Ice reminds you of endurance, of the power of accumulation over time, of the strength that comes from patience and layering. Together, snow and ice speak of both fleeting beauty and lasting resilience. The sound of falling snow is its own kind of silence. Not emptiness, but softened noise, footsteps muted, voices dampened, the world hushed. To walk in snowfall is to move through a quieter dimension, where even time seems slower. Breathing in that stillness, you feel yourself part of the same hush, your own breath joining the gentle rhythm of flakes drifting down. Pause once more. Inhale the silence of winter's lullaby. Exhale into its crystalline calm. And when the snow melts, when ice softens, when spring returns, the gift continues. Meltwater fills rivers, nourishes soil, awakens seeds. What seemed frozen and still becomes movement again, carrying life forward. Snow is not an ending, but a pause, a rest before renewal. And when the snow melts, when ice softens, when spring returns, the gift continues. Meltwater fills rivers, nourishes soil, awakens seeds. What seemed frozen and still becomes movement again, carrying life forward. Snow is not an ending, but a pause, a rest before renewal. As you prepare for deeper rest tonight, imagine the sky exhaling snow. Each flake drifts gently, unique and unrepeatable, forming a soft quilt across the land. Trees bow beneath its weight, rivers still beneath its cover, the world wrapped in quiet lace. You are held in that stillness, your breath in rhythm with the falling crystals. Breathe one final time with this vision. Inhale the uniqueness of every flake. Exhale into the stillness it brings. And as you close this chapter, you carry a reflection. In colder air, clouds release flakes, each one a tiny crystal grown in silence. Fragile, fleeting, and unique, they drift downward as the sky's frozen breath, a softer kind of rain. Snow and ice remind you of beauty in impermanence, patience in endurance, and the quiet gift of stillness before renewal. The air you breathe is not the same in January as it is in July. The light that touches your skin is not the same in spring as it is in autumn. Subtle as breath, the world changes as earth leans and turns. This tilt, gentle and constant, gives birth to seasons, and with them comes rhythm, cycles of warmth and cold, of abundance and rest, of long days and long nights. Breathe slowly, inhale the patience of winter. Exhale the brightness of summer. The cause of seasons is simple but profound. Earth spins on its axis at a tilt, about 23.5 degrees. As it orbits the sun, that tilt causes different hemispheres to receive more or less light. When your side leans toward the sun, days lengthen, warmth spreads, life quickens. This is summer. When your side tilts away, days shorten, light wanes, air chills. This is winter. Between them lie the gentle thresholds of spring and autumn, moments of balance, when day and night share equal hours. This tilt is steady, yet its effects are immense. The sun's angle changes how much energy reaches the ground, which warms the air, which shapes the winds, which guide the rains. Pressure patterns shift with light, forming monsoons in Asia, dry seasons in Africa, storms in the tropics. Even the smallest tilt has shaped civilizations, harvests, migrations, and traditions. Seasons are not accidents. They are the breath of the planet itself. Pause here. Inhale the tilt of Earth. Exhale the rhythm it brings. Winter is the season of stillness. The air grows heavy with cold. Trees draw inward. Animals burrow or sleep. Days are short, nights long, silence deep. It is a pause, a resting of the earth, a reminder that life requires dormancy as much as activity. Beneath snow and frost, roots still live, seeds still wait, preparing for spring. Winter teaches patience, the strength of pause, the endurance of quiet. Spring arrives as release. Light returns, snow melts, rivers swell, buds push through soil, flowers unfurl, animals wake. The air fills with birdsong, the world brightens, and energy surges upward. Spring is a beginning, a rebirth, a reminder that stillness gives way to movement, that patience is rewarded with growth. Summer expands this energy. Days stretch long, sunlight pours, crops ripen, warmth covers the land. It is abundance, fullness, celebration. The air is quick with movement storms. Rise, plants grow tall, insects hum in chorus. Summer is the earth in its peak of activity, its inhale at its strongest, its rhythm at its widest, and then autumn arrives with gentleness. Light softens, leaves change, air cools. The world prepares for rest again, drawing inward, storing energy, letting go. Fields are harvested, animals gather food, trees release leaves in showers of gold. Autumn is balance, the moment between energy and stillness, a reminder that letting go is part of the rhythm. Breathe gently, inhale the abundance of summer. Exhale the calm of autumn. Seasons are more than temperature and light, they are the weight of time itself. They mark the chapters of life, guiding migrations of animals, cycles of crops, festivals of people. They are calendars older than clocks, written in the turning of the earth. Even in places where seasons seem subtle, like near the equator, shifts in rain and dry mark the rhythm all the same. No corner of earth is untouched by this breathing. For you, seasons carry memory. Summer may remind you of childhood afternoons, autumn of harvests or school beginnings, winter of quiet nights, spring of renewal. Your life is stitched to these cycles, your own memories rising and falling with their rhythm. You are not separate from them. You are moved by them, shaped by them, carried within them. Pause once more. Inhale the memory of seasons past. Exhale the promise of seasons to come. There is metaphor here too. Your life, like the earth, tilts between phases. Times of stillness, when you wait, gather strength, rest. Times of energy, when you rise, expand, grow. Times of balance, when you prepare to let go or begin anew. Just as no season lasts forever, no season of life does either. You are reminded that change is natural, that rhythm is essential, that both warmth and cold are part of wholeness. Science tells us that seasons also shape the very air you breathe. In summer, plants draw in more carbon dioxide, lowering its levels in the atmosphere. In winter, when leaves fall and soils release stored gases, those levels rise again. Even the planet's breath is written in this rhythm, exhaling and inhaling with the turn of the year. And yet, for all their predictability, seasons still surprise. No winter is exactly like the last, no summer identical to the one before. Patterns endure, but variations remind you that rhythm is not repetition, it is music, with themes and variations, familiar yet fresh. As you prepare for rest tonight, imagine the earth turning gently on its tilted axis, circling the sun. Feel the shift of light, the weight of air, the rise and fall of temperature. Imagine winter's stillness holding seeds, spring's energy, awakening them, summer's warmth, maturing them, autumn's calm, releasing them. This is the breath of the planet, and you breathe in time with it. Breathe one final time with this vision. Inhale the tilt and turn of Earth. Exhale into the comfort of its rhythm. And as you close this chapter, you carry a reflection, pressure, and sunlight shift with the turning of Earth. Seasons arrive not as accidents, but as steady breathing winters, stillness, summer's energy. You rest tonight in the rhythm of the planet, knowing your life moves with the tilt of the world, and that you, too, are part of its eternal breath. For as long as people have walked the earth, they have looked upward, not only in wonder but in need. The sky has always been more than backdrop, has been a guide, a teacher, a book written in shifting letters of light and cloud. Long before satellites, radar, and forecasts, humans learned to read it with patience. Farmers planted crops by it, sailors set sails to it, travelers trusted it to decide when to journey and when to stay. Breathe slowly. Inhale the wisdom of those before you. Exhale the openness of your own gaze. The first signs are in the colors of light. A red sky at sunrise often means rain is approaching from the west, while a red sky at sunset often means the storm has passed, leaving calm behind. Red sky at night, sailors delight. Red sky at morning, sailors take warning. These words, carried for centuries, capture truths about how sunlight bends through moisture-laden air. You may not see the winds or feel the pressure, but the sky tells you through its glow. Clouds offer another page of this book. High cirrus clouds, thin and feathered, often announce a change, drifting far ahead of approaching weather systems. Cumulus clouds, puffy and bright, suggest fair weather if they remain small, but if they grow tall and dark, they warn of showers and storms. Stratus clouds, spread in gray blankets, often mean steady rain to come. By watching their shape, their movement, their layering, you begin to see patterns, not random, but written stories of air in motion. Pause here. Inhale the softness of cirrus. Exhale the weight of stratus, birds and animals. To read the sky, swallows fly low before rain, chasing insects brought downward by heavy, moist air. Cattle lie in fields when storms near, as pressure changes ripple through their senses. Even flowers tilt and close in response to weather's whispers. To notice these signs is to join a conversation older than humanity, one in which every creature has learned to listen. The wind is another language. A sudden shift in its direction can signal an approaching front. Warm breezes from the south may mean humid air, storms on the horizon. Cool winds from the north may bring clarity, skies sweeping clean. To walk outside and lift your face into the air is to feel the sky's words against your skin. Breathe gently. Inhale the warmth of promise. Exhale the coolness of change. Farmers have long lived by this book. The timing of rains, the length of frost, the arrival of storms all decide whether fields will flourish or fail. Without charts or machines, They trusted their eyes, their ears, their patience. A ring around the moon signaled moisture in the air, rain within days. Heavy dew in the morning meant fair skies ahead. These lessons, passed down through generations, were survival as much as wisdom. Sailors, too, became readers of clouds and wind. At sea, where no mountains or trees offered shelter, the sky was the only map. Knowing when storms would rise meant life or death. They watched the swell of waves, the height of clouds, the bend of gulls in flight. To sail was to live by reading the sky, each decision guided by its subtle letters. Pause once more, inhale the patience of sailors, exhale the trust of farmers. To read the sky is also to learn humility. For no matter how much you notice, no matter how much you guess, the sky still surprises. A sudden storm can rise without sign. A forecast can be wrong. A drizzle can fall when brightness seemed certain. Yet even in surprise, patterns remain. The unpredictability does not erase the rhythm. It only reminds you that the book is still larger than any reader. And here lies the quiet comfort. The sky is not random. It has reasons, patterns, habits. To read it is not to master it, but to join it, to soften your gaze, to notice without demand. Anyone can learn to see a streak of cloud, a shift of light, a hush of birdsong, and feel the meaning within. There is metaphor here, too. Just as you can read the sky, you can read the rhythms of your own life. Subtle signs appear: fatigue, excitement, tension, ease. To notice them is to know what weather may be coming inside you. Clouds of thought gather, winds of mood shift, light bends through memory. To read yourself gently is to live more wisely, just as farmers and sailors once lived by watching the horizon as you prepare for deeper rest. Imagine yourself lying beneath the open sky. Clouds drift above, red light fades on the horizon. A breeze moves gently through the air. You watch with patient eyes, knowing each detail is a word, each pattern a sentence. The sky becomes a diary, written for all who look. Breathe one final time with this vision. Inhale the softness of reading. Exhale the trust in rhythm. And as you close this chapter, you carry a reflection. Birds, sailors, and farmers have long read the sky, sensing rain or clear days ahead. You, too, can join them, soft-eyed, noticing the subtle signs. The sky is not random, it is a gentle book, always writing, always waiting to be read. The storm has spoken, and now it has gone. The thunder has rolled away into the distance. The lightning has faded. The last drops have fallen from heavy clouds. What remains is a hush, a stillness that feels deeper because of the noise that came before. The calm after rain is not emptiness, it is renewal, a pause the earth offers after its great exhale. Breathe slowly. Inhale the freshness of air just washed. Exhale the weight that storms have carried away. Step outside after rain, and the world feels changed. The air is cool, its edges softened. Dust that once floated unseen has been pulled down, leaving clarity. Leaves glisten, each one holding a bead of water like a jewel. Pavements shine, reflecting light in colors brighter than before. It is as though the world has been polished, restored to simplicity. The calm after rain is nature's reminder that storms cleanse as well as unsettle. The colors of the world sharpen too. Grass glows a deeper green, flowers seem more vivid, the sky behind thinning clouds brightens to a clearer blue. Even shadows grow crisper, edges defined by sunlight breaking through. This sharpening is not imagination, it is the scattering of light by clean air, by particles washed away, by droplets still clinging. The earth has written in watercolor during the storm, and now it sketches in ink. Pause here. Inhale the brightness of color. Exhale the hush of clarity. The sounds also change. Where once rain drummed against roofs and windows, now drops fall more gently, dripping from eaves, slipping from branches, tapping puddles in lingering rhythm. Birds, quiet during the storm, return with song, their voices clear against the softened air. Insects stir, frogs call, the chorus of life resumes, louder because of its absence. And yet, underneath, a silence remains, the deep quiet that follows thunder, as though the earth is resting after its effort. The ground itself holds memory of the rain. Puddles gather, mirroring the sky. Soil drinks deeply, softening and darkening. Streams swell, rivers quicken, the land refreshed. For plants, for seeds, for roots hidden below, rain is gift more than disruption. The calm after rain is not only what you see and feel, it is growth beginning, invisible yet certain. Breathe gently. Inhale the promise beneath the soil. Exhale the nourishment returning to earth. For people, too, the calm after rain carries meaning. To walk through streets washed clean, to smell petrichor rising from earth, to feel the cool breeze against skin, these are reminders of cycles larger than yourself. Storms may seem violent, but their purpose is balance, their result renewal. In the quiet that follows, you sense that even chaos is part of care. There is metaphor here, one you already know in your heart. Life, like weather, brings storms, moments of pressure, of conflict. They arrive with noise and weight, and in the middle of them, calm feels impossible. Yet, storms pass. When they do, air clears, colors sharpen, stillness returns. The calm after rain reminds you that endings can be beginnings, that clarity follows turbulence, that peace is not absence but arrival. Pause once more. Inhale the storms you've endured. Exhale into the calm they've left behind. Science explains the calm too. After rain, air pressure often rises, stabilizing the atmosphere. Cooler air settles, winds soften, clouds break apart. Moisture lingers in droplets, refracting light, sometimes even forming rainbows, arcs of color. The sky's soft promise, painted across fading storm. Each element, pressure, light, water, works together to create the sense of freshness you feel. What seems like magic is simply the earth's order, written in rhythm. Rainbows themselves are a symbol of this order. They appear when sunlight enters droplets, still hanging in the air, bending and scattering into colors. No two people see the same rainbow exactly, for each angle of light is unique to their place of standing. Yet all who look share the wonder. The rainbow is the storm's last word, its gentle farewell, its gift before it departs. The calm after rain has inspired cultures for centuries. Poets write of it, painters capture it, spiritual traditions honor it as cleansing and rebirth. Festivals celebrate the first rains after drought. Communities gather to welcome them. The silence after storms carries something universal, a shared sense of being washed, of being given another beginning. Breathe again. Inhale the shared renewal of humankind. Exhale the timeless rhythm that binds all animals to feel this rhythm. Birds shake water from their wings and return to flight. Deer step from shelter, grazing in fresh fields. Earthworms rise from soil, refreshed. Even predators and prey pause in the wet hush, as though the balance of life resets for a moment. The calm after rain belongs not only to you, but to every living thing, all joined by the same water, the same cycle, the same breath of earth. As you prepare for deeper rest tonight, imagine yourself standing in this calm. Clouds drift apart, sunlight filters through, drops sparkle on leaves. The air is fresh, your breath feels easy, the world around you glows with quiet renewal. You sense that every storm is temporary, every weight is lifted, every darkness yields to clarity. Breathe one final time with this vision. Inhale the gift of clean air. Exhale into the stillness after rain. And as you close this chapter, you carry a reflection. At last, the storm passes. Air feels washed, colors sharpen, silence deepens. You stand in the calm, knowing that every raindrop, every cloud, every shift in pressure is part of the earth's gentle care. The storm does not end the world, it restores it. You rest tonight in this truth. Beyond every storm, calm waits, and in that calm, the earth holds you tenderly. The sky stretches endlessly, a single roof arching over every life on earth. Whether you stand in the bustle of a city street, the silence of a desert, or the vast calm of an ocean, you are never without its presence. It carries with it the stories of places far from your own, folding distance into closeness, weaving continents together through its moving currents. Clouds that rise from coastal waters may travel for hundreds of miles, gathering and spilling their rain where the land is thirsty. A storm born above one valley might drift into another country, leaving behind greenness where it passes. Dust lifted from the Sahara can cross the sea, settling in the Amazon and nourishing trees. Tiny grains, born in one world, become gifts in another. Pause. Breathe in the quiet awareness that even the air filling your lungs has traveled far, passing over mountains, oceans, and forests before arriving here. Winds do not recognize borders, nor do rains carry passports. The sky flows freely, connecting every nation in a conversation older than maps. Through it, seeds ride invisible highways, drifting from field to field. Pollen travels on gentle breezes, stitching together distant meadows. Even the smallest winged creatures, moths, dragonflies, birds use this highway, their flight woven into the great circulation of air. Above the tallest mountains, jet streams roar in fast rivers of wind, unseen but steady, guiding weather across hemispheres. These currents link one horizon to another, pulling clouds from east to west, south to north. It is the sky's own bloodstream, carrying warmth, coolness, and rain in endless motion. And always, no matter where you are, the same stars wait beyond the blue. When the sun falls and night arrives, every human who looks upward shares the same scattered lights. This sky, though ever-changing in its moods, stormy, clear, gentle, fierce, is still one body, one vast presence. You may imagine yourself lying in a meadow, another person resting in a distant city, another sailing an open sea, all gazing upward at the same drifting clouds. Though you may never meet, the roof above ties you together. The weather you feel is a thread in the same fabric they feel. Pause once more. Inhale the memory of sunlight carried in the air. Exhale the weight of distance, knowing that the sky has already crossed it for you. The air wraps the earth in a single breath, and through it we are connected. Every tree that exhales, every wave that evaporates, every storm that rolls from one shore to the next. The sky carries more than weather. It carries belonging. It reminds you that though you stand in your own place, you are part of one whole, and so you rest in this truth. The sky above is not only vast, it is shared. It binds forests and cities, deserts and oceans, strangers and friends. Every corner of the earth lives beneath its moving roof, listening to the same language of wind and cloud, far above the land you walk upon. In the thin reaches of the atmosphere, rivers flow not of water, but of air. These are the jet streams, long and narrow, curving ribbons that encircle the globe. Though invisible to your eyes, their presence is immense, shaping the moods of the sky below, steering storms, and giving rhythm to the seasons. You picture them as silver threads stretched across the heavens, some winding west to east, some dipping and rising like waves, frozen in motion. These currents move faster than any storm cloud, often racing at hundreds of kilometers an hour, a speed you cannot feel from the ground, but whose influence touches your daily life. Storms gather or weaken under their guidance. A jet stream can bend southward, pulling winter's cold deeper into warm lands, or surge northward, allowing summer's warmth to spread farther than usual. Farmers feel their sway in harvests, cities in rains or droughts, travelers in flights that shorten or stretch according to the stream's flow. Imagine standing still beneath a calm sky. The air around you feels ordinary, yet miles above. Winds howl with a force greater than hurricanes, their ribbons curling and weaving unseen. The quiet day you enjoy is shaped by this high dance, its movements translating into the breezes at your window. The jet streams form where warm and cold air meet, boundaries drawn high in the sky. Sunlight heats the tropics more than the poles, and this imbalance drives the atmosphere to adjust, to circulate, to move. Out of this need for balance, these narrow highways emerge, streaming endlessly around the earth. They are not fixed. They shift with the seasons, stronger in winter when contrasts between warm and cold are greatest, weaker in summer when the difference softens. They meander like rivers do, carving great bends that stretch across continents. Sometimes they split into two, other times they merge, each change rippling the weather below like a hand brushing water in a bowl. Pilots know these rivers well. Flying with them, an aircraft can ride their swift current, crossing oceans in less time, saving fuel and energy. Flying against them, journeys grow longer, the wind a quiet but firm resistance. Even here, far above the clouds, humanity has learned to listen to the sky's secret pathways, and yet their dance is delicate. When they stall or bend too deeply, weather lingers. Rains may settle for weeks in one place, drought may grip another, heat may lock into a region unrelieved. The jet streams, in their wandering, reveal how finely balanced the Earth's atmosphere is, how connected Every horizon remains. Pause and breathe. Picture yourself not only beneath the sky, but within it, part of the circulation that stirs oceans, winds, and life itself. The air you inhale was once guided by these streams, carried perhaps across deserts, mountains, or seas, before sinking gently to where you stand. Though unseen, these ribbons of air tie the world together. They are the threads that connect storms in one land to weather in another, the silent architects of climate, the invisible hands that remind you the earth is not many parts, but one moving body. And so you rest in the thought that even the highest winds, racing beyond sight, are part of a greater dancer choreography that binds continents, seasons, and lives into one flowing rhythm. Before the first bird sings, before the horizon blushes with light, the earth wears a quiet gift. On each blade of grass, each leaf, each stone, small droplets glisten as if the night itself had leaned down to leave behind a trace of touch. This is dew, the simplest of miracles, formed from nothing more than air and silence. It begins in the evening as warmth escapes the land. The ground exhales the heat it gathered from the day, releasing it into the open sky. As the earth cools, so too does the air resting close to its skin. And when the air grows cool enough, it cannot hold all its invisible vapor. What was once unseen begins to settle, condensing into beads of water that cling to surfaces. You imagine this process not as mechanics, but as tenderness, the sky offering back to the earth what it had borrowed, a cycle of lending and returning, patient and soft. No thunder announces it, no storm heralds it, only the hush of night, the drift of air, the gentle falling of temperature until the balance tips and water appears. In the first light of dawn, the world seems jeweled. Grass becomes a field of tiny mirrors, each drop reflecting the morning sun. Spiderwebs turn to silver nets, holding the dew like strings of pearls. Even the most ordinary path, the most common stone, is transformed into something precious. Pause and imagine kneeling in such a morning. The air still cool, the world hushed, every surface touched by dew. To the eyes of science, it is a process of condensation, molecules gathering together. To the heart, it feels like a blessing, quiet proof that the earth and sky still speak to one another. For plants and animals, this gift carries weight beyond beauty. In dry regions, dew can be enough to keep leaves moist, to offer water to insects, to sustain life when rain is rare. Certain beetles, desert grasses, and even small reptiles have learned to collect dew from their bodies or from the surfaces they move upon. Drinking from the sky's secret well, dew is also memory. Long ago, people saw it as a sign of purity, a blessing from the heavens. Ancient poets wrote of it as tears of the night, soft jewels offered to the morning. Farmers once measured the health of soil and crops by its presence, knowing that dew was part of the earth's gentle balance. And in your own life, it carries a reminder. Not all gifts arrive with noise. Some come quietly, unnoticed, unless you pause to see them. The shine of morning dew is brief. As the sun rises higher, the droplets vanish back into air. Yet, their short existence does not lessen their grace. You rest in this truth that beauty need not last forever to matter. That sometimes what touches you most is what arrives silently, glimmers for a moment, then disappears into memory. And so, as you watch the dew fade under the warmth of day, you carry the thought that the sky will kiss the earth again tomorrow. The cycle will return night after night, morning after morning, offering its gift in silence. In the quiet of a summer afternoon, the sky begins to stir. At first, it is nothing more than a wisp of white, a harmless puff drifting above the horizon. But the air beneath it warms, the ground sending its heat upward. The invisible breath of earth lifts moisture higher and higher, carrying vapor on unseen stairways. Slowly, the cloud grows. You watch as it swells, no longer a puff, but a tower, stretching toward the upper reaches of the atmosphere. Its sides are bright and brilliant, sunlit walls rising as if built of marble. The base, though darkens, heavy with water, waiting to fall. A balance of light and shadow, hope and weight held in vapor. This is a cumulonimbus cloud, a mountain made not of stone, but of air and water. It rises from warm currents, climbing until it touches the frigid layers above. There, the water droplets freeze into ice crystals, forming turrets and domes, an ever-changing architecture of vapor. To look upon it is to see both delicacy and power. A cathedral sculpted by heat, silence, and time. Step closer in your imagination. You drift into its body, and the air shifts around you. Droplets rise, fall, collide, and separate again, a constant dance of condensation. Lightning may already be whispering within, hidden sparks forming in the friction of ice against water. Thunder sleeps in its belly, waiting to awaken. And yet, for all its violence, there is also awe. Pilots describe the tops of these clouds as seas of white, stretching endlessly, their peaks shining in the sun like frozen waves. From above, they are soft, like fields of cotton. From below, they loom immense and shadowed, filling the horizon. Both faces are true gentle beauty and looming power. Consider their role in the rhythm of Earth. These towers are engines of weather, moving heat from the ground into the sky, balancing temperatures across the planet. They bring rain to fields, replenishing rivers and lakes. They release energy stored in water vapor, energy that fuels winds and lightning. They are not accidents, but vital organs of the atmosphere. For people watching from the ground, they carry stories. Farmers learn to read them, knowing a towering cloud signals rain or storm. Sailors see them as omens, warnings of winds to come. Children look up and imagine castles, mountains, or mythical beasts rising from the horizon. In every gaze, the cloud reflects a different meaning, yet always commands attention. Now, imagine standing in a wide plain, watching one of these clouds form. Minutes pass, and it grows taller than any mountain you have seen. Its shadow stretches across fields, cooling the earth beneath. You feel both small and protected, as though nature has drawn a curtain across the sky. And then, perhaps, the first drops fall fat, heavy, alive with scent. The storm begins, yet storms pass. The cloud that towers so high today may dissolve tomorrow. Heat will fade, air will calm, and the cathedral will crumble back into wisps. Its life is short, measured in hours rather than ages. But for that brief span, it transforms the sky into something unforgettable. There is a lesson hidden here. Strength and beauty do not always last. Power can be fleeting, majesty temporary. and still in their brief existence. Such clouds give rain to the thirsty ground, shade to the weary traveler, and awe to every eye that lifts toward them. You rest in this awareness that impermanence does not diminish wonder. In fact, it sharpens it. To see a towering cloud is to witness a moment you know will never return in the same form again. And as the storm fades, leaving washed air and soft colors behind, you carry with you the memory of the sky's cathedral. High above, new currents are already rising, preparing the next tower, the next fleeting masterpiece of vapor. There are mornings when the world wakes, wrapped in silence. The streets, the hills, the forests, even the sky itself, disappear beneath a gray veil. The air feels closer, as if the horizon has folded inward. This is fog, a cloud that has descended, a sky that has chosen to live upon the ground. Unlike the towering thunderclouds that announce themselves with lightning and thunder, fog arrives without ceremony. It gathers in valleys where cold air settles or rolls in from the sea, pulled inland by gentle winds. It can form on still nights when the earth radiates away its heat, cooling the air until moisture condenses into droplets too fine to fall. These droplets drift in place, suspended between sky and earth, creating a world of softness. Step into it, and the ordinary is transformed. Trees blur into silhouettes, lamps glow with halos, and footsteps echo more deeply. Sound itself changes, muted, muffled, as though wrapped in cotton. The sharp edges of life are smoothed, leaving behind a hushed calm. Even time feels altered, slowed by the veil that drapes across the landscape. For those who wander in fog, there is a sense of intimacy with the world. Distances shorten, the vastness of the sky shrinks to the span of your own sight. You see only what is near, a patch of grass, a single branch, a fence fading into gray. It is as though the earth has asked you to look closer, to pay attention to the small and the near instead of the distant. Travelers once feared fog, for it could hide cliffs, confuse roads, and conceal dangers. Ships lost their bearings when fog rolled across the sea, horns sounding into the thick air to warn unseen neighbors. Yet, at the same time, fog has been seen as protective, hiding villages in wartime or wrapping fields in secrecy. Its mystery carries both caution and comfort. Think of cities where fog becomes part of their identity. London, once cloaked in thick industrial haze, was known for its pea soup fogs. San Francisco waits for fog like an old friend, its bridges vanishing and reappearing as the mist drifts inland. In valleys, mountain passes, and coastal plains across the world, fog is a familiar visitor, never the same twice. There is also beauty in how fog touches life. Spiders' webs glisten with beads of moisture, grass shines with droplets, and the breath of animals and people mingles invisibly with the air. In deserts, fog provides water to plants and insects, a hidden well gathered from air. What seems empty is, in truth, full of quiet gifts. You imagine yourself walking through such a morning, the world subdued, every sound softened, every sight reduced to what is close at hand. There is peace in this narrowing of the world. In fog, the unknown is not frightening but gentle. The distance does not vanish. It simply waits, hidden until the veil lifts, and always fog lifts. The sun returns, warming the air, scattering the droplets, revealing again the vast sky. The quiet dream ends, and the world sharpens into lines and colors once more. Yet the memory of that hush lingers, like a whisper heard in passing. You rest in the thought that fog teaches patience, that not every truth must be seen at once, that sometimes the most profound beauty is found when the world is blurred, when edges fade, and when silence deepens. You carry with you the echo of its softness, reminder that even when clarity returns, the quiet veil remains in memory, ready to drift back again on another still morning, when the rain has passed and the air is still heavy with moisture. Something quiet and miraculous can appear. A rainbow arcs across the sky, fragile, brilliant, and fleeting. It is not a thing you can touch or hold, yet its presence feels as real as stone. A rainbow is light itself, bent and scattered into colors, revealed only when water and sun join hands. The secret lies in each raindrop. Sunlight enters, bends, reflects inside, and bends again as it leaves. With every turn, the light splits, spreading out into a spectrum: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Billions of droplets scatter billions of tiny rainbows, and together they weave the great arc your eyes see. You imagine it as a bridge, built not of stone or steel, but of pure light. From the ground it seems to rise from the earth, curving upward, touching the sky, before descending again. Yet no matter how far you walk, you can never reach its end. The rainbow is not in one place, but in many, painted by the angle of light. To another observer, standing even a few steps away, the rainbow is different, personal, uniquely theirs. There is wonder in this, that beauty is shared, yet never identical. That each person sees their own rainbow, shaped by their place and their gaze. Think of how cultures have carried rainbows in their stories. For some, they were bridges to the divine. For others, promises of peace after storms, or symbols of connection between earth and sky. Poets have called them fleeting smiles of heaven. Painters have chased their colors with brushes, and children still run to follow them, searching for the treasures they are said to hide. Science explains them with precision, but the explanation does not diminish their magic. In fact, it deepens it. To know that each drop of water holds a fragment of color, and that millions of such drops combine to create the arc that is a truth as beautiful as myth. You rest in the thought that the rainbow is both physics and poetry, numbers and wonder. Sometimes, if the air is just right, you may see a second arc fainter, reversed in color, framing the first like an echo. In rare moments, fog or mist can give birth to pale rainbows, almost ghostly, white against the sky. These are reminders that light and water have endless ways of weaving together. You imagine yourself standing in a field, rain still clinging to leaves, the sun breaking through clouds behind you. Ahead, the rainbow glows, vast and fragile, arching over your world. For a moment, all else fades: the noise of the storm, the heaviness of the sky, even the weight of your own thoughts. All that remains is color, light, and stillness. And then, as the sun rises higher, or the rain drifts away, it vanishes. The arc dissolves back into ordinary air. Yet you do not feel loss. The rainbow was never meant to stay. Its gift is in its transience, its beauty precisely because it cannot be held. You rest in this awareness that some wonders exist only for a breath of time, yet leave behind an enduring memory. That after storms, the sky sometimes smiles, not forever, but long enough. And so, the next time rain clears and light returns, you may find yourself looking upward, waiting, not for treasure at the rainbow's end, but for the quiet reward of seeing the world bend itself into color. Most often, when water falls from the sky, it comes as a misting drizzle, a gentle rain, or perhaps a snowfall, soft as feathers. But sometimes, the sky releases something more startling, harder and colder: hail. It rattles on rooftops, bounces on fields, strikes with sudden force. Unlike the quiet gift of dew or the flowing song of rain, hail is born in turmoil. It is the child of storms, sculpted in the towering halls of clouds that climb into the heavens. To understand hail, you must return to those great cathedrals of vapor cumulonimbus clouds. Within their vast bodies, air surges upward with tremendous speed, carrying droplets of water high into frigid layers of the atmosphere. There, the droplets freeze, becoming tiny beads of ice. Yet their journey does not end. Powerful updrafts lift them again and again, carrying them upward, then letting them fall, then sweeping them skyward once more. Still, for all their brilliance, auroras are fleeting. They flare and fade, shift and vanish, often in minutes. To see them is to catch a passing breath, a glimpse of beauty that cannot be held. Like rainbows, they are gifts of timing, arriving without warning, leaving without farewell. Their silence is part of their power. They blaze like fire, but without roar, without crackle. Only the eyes can hear them. You rest in the thought that auroras are more than light. They are reminders of connection, that the star that warms you also speaks to you. That Earth is part of a larger dance, that beauty often arrives unbidden from beyond. In their glow, you sense the cosmos not as distant, but as present, alive and tender. And as the last curtain fades into darkness, the memory lingers. The sky has its own dreams, and sometimes it lets you see them. Lift your eyes beyond Earth, and you begin to see that weather is not unique to this world. Skies across the solar system hold their own tempests, each shaped by the character of its planet. Storms, clouds, and winds are not confined to Earth. They are the moods of worlds, reminders that air and motion exist everywhere, each with its own rhythm. To imagine them is to step into unfamiliar skies, listening for winds that no human ear has ever truly heard. Begin with Jupiter, the giant of the solar system. Here, storms are larger than worlds. The great red spata swirling vortex has raged for centuries, perhaps longer than human history itself. Twice as wide as Earth, it turns endlessly, a whirlpool of gas in Jupiter's thick atmosphere. To stand beneath it, if you could, would be to feel winds rushing faster than any hurricane on Earth. Clouds towering miles high, lightning flashing in the depths. Yet, from afar, it is strangely beautiful. A crimson eye gazing from the face of the planet, patient and eternal. Saturn, too, carries tempests of scale. Its storms wrap around its bands, white ovals growing into tempests that can encircle the planet. And at its north pole, a hexagon spins an enormous jet stream shaped into 6 sides, a mystery of motion that scientists still study. You imagine drifting above those golden clouds, watching the shape hold steady, as if Saturn itself were etched with geometry. Venus, cloaked in thick atmosphere, holds a different kind of weather. Its skies are heavy with carbon dioxide and clouds of sulfuric acid, trapping heat so intensely that the surface glows with relentless fire. Winds at the top of the atmosphere race faster than the planet rotates, circling the globe in just a few days. If you stood beneath those orange clouds, the air would press on you with crushing weight, the heat unbearable. Yet above, in the higher skies, the winds whisper ceaselessly, as if Venus sighs in storms that never rest. Then there is Mars, with its thin, cold air, where storms arise not from water but from dust. At times, a single storm grows large enough to cover the entire planet, swallowing valleys, mountains, and plains in red haze. From the ground, the sun would fade into a dim disk, the sky thick with iron-colored clouds. These storms can last for weeks, shaping dunes, erasing tracks, burying everything beneath a shifting veil of sand. You picture standing there, hearing the faint hiss of particles striking. The whole world turned to one vast desert storm. Even far-off worlds hold weather of wonder. On Neptune, the fastest winds in the solar system blow, reaching speeds far beyond anything on Earth. Dark spots, like shadows, mark enormous storms rolling across its deep blue face. Uranus too carries weather, its tilted axis giving it strange, long seasons, where storms arise after decades of quiet. On Titan, Saturn's largest moon, methane rains fall, carving rivers and lakes of liquid hydrocarbons, a reflection of Earth's cycle, but with alien ingredients. These storms remind you that weather is not small or local. It is a language of planets, a way that atmospheres move and respond to energy. Each world writes its own chapter in this language, telling stories of pressure, wind, and change. And though we cannot stand beneath most of these skies, imagination allows us to travel there, to feel the heat of Venus, the dust of Mars, the winds of Neptune, the eternal spinning of Jupiter's eye. To think of weather beyond Earth is to widen your sense of home. Our clouds and rains, our winds and tides, are part of a much larger chorus. Storms do not belong to us alone. They belong to the universe, expressions of energy across matter, painted differently on each world. You rest in this realization that every planet has its moods, and every sky has its own kind of music. Earth's rain, lightning, and calm are only one verse in a greater song, and as you close your eyes, you imagine drifting through the solar system, moving from world to world, hearing each atmosphere hum, each storm breathe. The chorus of skies rises around you, a symphony of winds carried across worlds. Step back for a moment and lift your gaze beyond a single storm, beyond the rainbow that arches after rain, beyond even the thunderclouds that tower like mountains. Imagine the sky not in fragments, but as one continuous motion. You begin to see a circle, a rhythm without edges, where air and water move endlessly. Nothing is lost, only reshaped vapor to drop, drop to river, river to sea, and sea to vapor again. The sky breathes in patterns, and you are living inside its lungs. It begins with sunlight, warm and patient, touching the seas, rivers, and lakes. Heat stirs water into vapor, invisible yet present, rising upward like whispers into the open sky. Leaves to exhale, releasing moisture in slow sighs. Even the ground, damp with rain, offers its quiet gift back to the air. Evaporation is the first step of this eternal story, the lifting of water from earth to sky. Unseen yet unstoppable, high above, the rising vapor cools. It gathers, condenses, forms droplets that cling together, weaving clouds. These clouds drift and swell, carried by winds, shaped into endless forms. Sometimes they wander gently, dissolving back into blue. Sometimes they darken, heavy with promise, ready to return their borrowed water to the earth below. Then comes the fall. Rain patters on rooftops, snow drifts in silence, hail rattles with sudden force. Each form is a different voice in the same song, water returning to ground. It collects in streams, rivers, and oceans. It nourishes soil and roots. It carves valleys and shapes plains. In its falling, it gives life, and in its movement, it shapes the very face of the earth. The cycle does not end with rain. Winds stir, born from differences in temperature and pressure, carrying moisture from one place to another, shifting weather across continents. The same drop of water that fell as rain on a mountain may one day fall again as snow in a faraway valley, or as mist in the breath of another dawn. Air and water are travelers, never still, always moving in loops too vast for a single lifetime to trace. You imagine tracing one droplet through its endless journey. It rises from the sea as vapor, cools into a cloud, falls into a river, flows to the ocean, and rises once again. Centuries may pass, yet the droplet continues its path, unbroken. In this way, water holds memory, a silent witness to every age of earth. The rain that falls on your skin tonight may once have fallen on ancient forests, or filled the seas where early life stirred. Civilizations to have lived by this cycle. Farmers watch the rains, sailors follow the winds, poets find metaphors in the clouds. Stories are written in the rhythm of wet and dry, storm and calm. Rituals of planting, harvest, and celebration are guided by the circle of water and sky. And even now, in a world of machines and electricity, human life still depends on this eternal motion. It is not only physical, but spiritual. The cycle teaches that nothing ends completely. What falls will rise again. What vanishes will return in another form. Loss gives way to renewal, and change becomes continuity. The sky shows this lesson daily, quietly, without words. Stand in the calm after rain, and you can feel the completeness of it. Drops cling to leaves, rivers run fuller, the air is cleaner, and above, clouds begin to thin. The water that fell will one day return, the circle continuing whether you notice or not. There is comfort in that constancy, in the knowledge that the world sustains itself with such patience, and yet, within the cycle, there is infinite variety. No two storms are the same. No two sunsets repeat. No two snowflakes share the same design. The circle is eternal, but each moment within it is unique. That is the paradox of the sky, forever repeating, forever new. As you look across the whole pattern, evaporation, condensation, rain, snow, wind, and sun, you see not a sequence of accidents, but a choreography. Earth dances with air, water dances with light. The circle turns, steady and unstoppable, carrying you with it. You rest in the thought that you, too, are part of this rhythm. The water in your veins was once in oceans, once in clouds, once in storms, long before you lived. The air in your lungs has circled the planet countless times, touched mountains, deserts, forests, and seas. You are not separate from the eternal psycho. You are one of its expressions, brief but essential. And so, as you imagine the circle turning, you feel peace. Nothing is wasted, nothing truly lost. The sky is a circle without end, and within its rhythm, both the planet and your own life find their place.